For any parent, there's probably nothing more terrifying than knowing something is wrong with your child, but having absolutely no idea what it is. It kicks off this journey, right? Full of specialists, endless tests, and these agonizing waits, all of it just to get a single elusive answer.
Now, I want you to imagine that feeling, but stretch it out, not for days or weeks, but for months or even years. This is the reality for so many families. They're on what's called a diagnostic odyssey, a long, often lonely, and incredibly frustrating search for a name to put to their struggle.
Just look at this timeline. This is for a hypothetical case for a little boy named Bob. The family's first concern was noted way back in October 2023. But the first real step towards a potential answer, that didn't happen until December 2025. That is more than 2 years of uncertainty, 2 years of unanswered questions. So, this gap, this long and confusing road, that's what we're going to dive into today. And more importantly, we're going to look at how a new kind of technology is trying to make that journey a whole lot shorter. A platform called Odyssey has this really bold mission. It wants to be an eternal ally in the diagnostic journey. You see, the goal here isn't just to be another piece of software. It's designed to be a dedicated partner for families in their search for answers. All right, so how does it actually work? Let's follow the case of that 5-year-old we mentioned, Bob. We're going to see how this platform takes a family's personal story, all their worries and observations, and turns it into a potential roadmap for a diagnosis. Okay, so the very first step is intentionally simple. It's human. You're not just creating some anonymous case file. The system asks you to tell it who you're fighting for, and in this case, it's for Bob, who's 5 years old. And then the platform just asks the family to, well, tell me their story. This is so important. It's built on the idea that some of the most powerful data doesn't come from a lab report. It comes from the day-to-day observations of the people who know the patient best. After that, all those scattered pieces of the puzzle finally come together. We're talking genetic reports, lab results from different doctors, growth charts, even photos. Everything gets uploaded into one secure place, creating, maybe for the very first time, a single, complete picture. And just listen to what Bob's parent wrote here. The seizures scare me the most. They happen out of nowhere, last 1 to 2 minutes, and leave him so confused and tired. See, that's not a clinical symptom list. That's a powerful first-hand account, and it's full of context a formal report might totally miss. The parent also mentions that a genetic report pointed to something called a VUS in the ZEB2 gene. So what in the world is a VUS? Well, it stands for Variants of Unknown Significance. But I think a much better way to think about it is as a genetic question mark. It means there's a change in a gene, but doctors don't yet know if it's harmless or if it's the actual cause of the problem. And for so many families, getting a VUS result feels like hitting a frustrating dead end. But this is where everything changes. With the family story told and all the data uploaded, the platform's AI starts to play detective. It begins searching for connections between all of these different clues. So now the AI sifts through everything all at once. The parent's emotional story about the seizures, the clinical notes, the lab results, and that genetic question mark, the VUS. It's scanning for patterns across thousands of medical journals and patient databases, a feat that would be literally impossible for any single doctor to do. And this is the result. It's called a live differential panel. Really, you can think of it as the AI's list of top suspects. After analyzing every single piece of Bob's information, it generates a list of possible syndromes that match his unique combination of symptoms and genetic markers. And look at this, right at the very top of the list, with a greater than 90% statistical probability, is a potential match. Mowat-Wilson syndrome, that genetic question mark, that VUS that felt like a dead end, it might just be the key. But this isn't just about data and percentages, it's about real people. Another success story on the platform tells us about a child named Leo, who was also diagnosed with Mowat-Wilson syndrome. And his journey involved extraordinary challenges, including feeding difficulties and seizures, sounding a lot like Bob's story, right? All of a sudden, this abstract diagnosis has a very human face. Finally getting a name for the struggle is a monumental step, but it's not the end of the journey. In fact, it's a new beginning. It's a path forward that's filled with hope and, finally, concrete actions. So the platform immediately shifts from diagnosis to empowerment. This hope and action screen shows that it really understands what families need most after they get an answer.
They need a plan.
And the actions are so practical. First, it helps draft a clinical referral letter to send to the right specialists, armed with all this new data. Second, it can generate evidence-based letters to help with those tough insurance appeals. And third, and this might be the most powerful one, it helps families find other matched cases in communities around the world. It helps end that profound sense of isolation that so often comes with a rare disease. It really leaves us with a powerful thought, doesn't it? When we combine the deep, intuitive knowledge of a parent with the incredible pattern-finding power of AI, just how many of these long, painful diagnostic odysseys can we shorten? How many more families can find not just an answer, but a community and a path to hope that much faster?